All right, guys. Hey, welcome to our Monday sales call. I'm excited to be able to have Dennis on with us. It's so fun in this business because Dennis, we're not on the same team, even though you think we would because we're Asian. But we're not on the same team, I promise. And what's really cool though is you get to meet people in this business and you click with them. And here's what I always tell people. It's like I've always built this business with the idea that if I can help you and I can serve you, even if you're not on our team, eventually there's going to be a time where I might need your help. And if I helped you in the beginning, you probably return the favor because of reciprocity alone, right? This is why I don't big time people. I don't do any of that. But I had a chance to meet Dennis and Clint at a lock-in about 4 or 5 months ago. And it was so neat watching them rip insurance together and listening to how they're doing it. And built a really good relationship with Dennis over the last couple months to the point where, I mean, Dennis, we probably talk every week, every other week for at least an hour regarding the business, for, whether it's IULs, annuities, or sales processes, recruiting, whatever it is. And that's the beauty of this business, right? Is we get to work with people even if they're not on the same team. So, Dennis, I appreciate you. You're crushing it, man. I think you finally found the code of writing 50, 60,000 hours a month consistently. But for those that don't know you, don't know your story, don't know how you came here, can you kind of briefly share it for those so they can get to know you a little bit?
Definitely. You can hear me
Loud
okay?
and clear.
Perfect. So I met Clint fishing. We always be on the same fishing trips, and I was looking for something to pivot to. I was working in Mexico. We were running a business in Mexico. That was going to come up to. We were going to close that down. So I was looking for something to pivot to, and I have 5 kids. I'm married, and we have some properties and stuff like that. So I have big boy bills, right? So I have 2 kids in private Catholic school and 3 in university. So my expenses are high, and everything falls on me because I'm one income family. And so I saw Clint fishing with me all the time. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, I do insurance. Like, okay, what do you do? And he explained the whole process to me. He didn't talk to me about it the first time we met. It just took a while until he started talking about it, and I saw an opportunity there to pivot, and he explained the amount of work it would be. Fishing in the beginning might not be priority in the first year. So I said, yeah, I'm in. I want to see if I can do this too. And he showed me, explained to me what his process is, and he walked me through everything, and he plugged me into his system, and we're doing some good things now.
I love it, man. So, how long have you been with Family First Life?
I started in November. I started dialing in November 18th,
Okay.
November 18th,
So,
2024. So
so
not
November,
even a
so you've
year
been
yet.
here less than a year, and just for
Even less than a
everybody to see, because I asked Dennis for this, and it's fascinating because I go, how much premium have you written? And it's like most people are like, oh, I think like 20. Like Dennis is like, here's a screenshot, right? And I'm going to share that with everybody because, um, can y'all see my screen? Maybe, hopefully, everybody says my internet's lagging. Can y'all see it, Dennis? Can y'all see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Dennis's first month, November, he writes 3 grand in business. December 22, January 24, February 21, and then boom, something clicked
Mhm.
because he goes from 21 to 41. That's a pretty big jump in monthly income, right? And then he goes from 40, 41, 45, 46, 54, 53, 51. So something clicked there as well, right? So this is just for everybody to know that we're not just making these numbers up. So what happened? Like what? So obviously, I'm assuming in November you were learning, so you're just getting your teeth kicked in. So you write 3 grand in business, and then something clicks that you go do 20 like overnight, and you maintain that for 3 months. What happened there?
Yeah, definitely. So I talked about this, right? This is, you can treat it like a sport or anything you want to get better at, right? It's definitely not something that you just show up for and you can be good at it. I mean, I'm a salesperson, that's fine, but there's a lot more to the business than just, the stuff that you were selling before. There's a lot more, sitting there and dialing. objections, all that kind of stuff. We really train for this, right? We study for like objections, listen to a lot of podcasts, listen to a lot of your videos. I learn a lot of stuff from your videos. There's a lot of stuff from FFL that you can tap into the resources. But just all those videos on YouTube, just like different products, how to do leads, how to dial. So that's where we really stepped it up to the next level. Just mastering the craft, right?
So you're at 20 grand for 3 months, and then something clicks from 21 to 41. What happens there?
So I really dialed in on amount of leads that I was getting into. It was fluctuating during the week. It'd be like 80, 70, sometimes a little bit less. And I just said, hey, you know what? I need 120 leads a week, and that's what I need. I need fresh leads. I when I started buying leads in December, so that's why there was a big, the amount of IP was not, just looking better, right? That was pretty stable, and then we got the leads stabilized, and we're doing 120 to 150 leads a week, and that was a big difference for me.
So, okay. So what did you spend a week on leads when you were writing 20 versus what you were writing when you were spending, on 40?
I'm actually spending pretty much, probably spending less now than when I started.
Hmm.
My lead cost in the beginning was a little bit unstable because the campaigns were just starting.
Right.
And so we weren't really able to lock down exactly like how we were supposed to do everything. I was mixing in, calling older leads and stuff like that. And now I spend 2,100. I spend $300 a day on leads.
$300 a day. So you're
Yes.
spending easily 8 grand a month on leads.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's pretty
Yeah.
normal for someone that wants to write, 40, 50, 60 grand, just so everybody's
For
aware.
sure. Yeah.
Because the number is
Yeah.
1 to 4, 1 to 5. If you have not figured that out yet. And the quicker you guys will understand that those are the numbers regardless of what the premium is. Like if you want to write 20 grand, you spend 1,000 a week. If you want to write 40, you spend two. If you spend three, you write 50, 60. Like it's just math, right? Um, okay, so it picks up drastically. And here's like you had some notes that I want you to go over as well. But one of
Mhm.
the biggest things that I always tell people, Dennis, is like the beauty of family first life is like not everybody does it the same way.
Mhm.
Like some people are really good at writing IULs, and some people are really good at running FE, and some people run mortgage, and some people run general life. Like, can you explain like what your lead strategy was when you got started, and what is it now?
Lead strategy was just run old leads. Just dial. Clint gave me a lot of leads, and we were just dialing those in the beginning.
Can you talk
Um,
about why that's actually important? Because a lot of people go, I don't want to call old leads because they're old, and there's nothing in there,
right.
and that's actually not true.
Oh, there's plenty of meat in there, especially with a great upline like Clint's that he runs a lot of leads, and so there's a lot of meat in his leads. That'll you don't want to invest in leads in the beginning because it's very expensive. That could definitely eat you up and not allow you to well just motivate you, right? Get you thinking, oh, this is expensive, this is not going to work, and things like that. So you call old leads first, right? And then you slowly work up to, getting leads built up for yourself. A strategy that I started was, we would do one sort of leads at like, we were dialing old leads and then we mix it up. I think Daniel's doing great right now with just older leads, aged leads. And so, you can definitely start, 100% at aged leads at first and then work into maybe 75% of aged leads and 25% of fresh leads, right? And then after that, 50-50. Then once you start building up that bank and you start getting good at your objections and really being able to take advantage of using fresh leads because you don't it's costly. It can be very costly to invest in new leads in the beginning, but you're just throwing them away because you're not able to convert them, right? So once you get a little bit better and you're able to convert them, definitely start into newer leads, fresher leads, higher intent leads, and then eventually just go full high intent leads. So that's the way we start doing
I love it. All right, so I know you have some bullet points that you wanted to go over that you sent me. And by
it.
the way, it's so funny because I'm literally looking at what you were going to talk about, and I'm like, dude, we talk about this every week, and I'm like, and until it beats into their mind that this is actually how
Mhm.
simple it is, they won't do it. You know what I mean?
And
Like
that's the
not
thing,
all
right?
sales trainers will get together and be like,
Mhm.
Dennis, we're only going to talk about these three things, and I promise you, we're only going to talk.
Mhm.
Like that's all everybody does. So whenever you're ready to rip it, bro, by all means,
Yeah,
please do.
definitely. Thank you. Yeah, definitely. The system is the same. It's the same across the board. FFL has the same system, right? So, like Don Rogers says, the first 90 days, 90 hours, right? So put in your 6 days a week at 12 hours a day, and then you can have one day off or a half day, but uh, your job doesn't stop there. So the 90 hours, what are you going to fill that up with? You got to train. You listen to training podcasts, you everything on objections on YouTube, um, go into the meetings like these, try to understand and try to level up, right? So that's where most of getting better is. Sometimes you can't get people on the phone, right? That it doesn't end there. So you got to figure out, okay, so how am I going to get better? Practice, grab somebody, grab a friend, and say, hey, grab your upline and say, hey, can we go over the script? Can we understand why we're saying things and how we're going to kill the zombies? Right? If you know your script, you're going to understand every uh, our script is really on point. We really attack each point, each part of what the zombies that are going to come up. Right? Why are you asking all these health questions? Each of those carriers they have their own level of risk they're willing to accept. Some take cancer, others diabetes, others strokes. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That's why you're asking. Yeah. And then we talk about social, we talk about banking. Every part of that script has a reason. And so it'll help advance your sales technique a lot better. But you just have to, there's more than that. You can't just show up and dial. Show up and dial, you get 400, 500, 600 dials. Like, oh, I got hung up on, 10 times. That's it. Then tomorrow I'm gonna do the same thing again. No, you got to understand why are you getting hung up on? How are you dialing? How many dials you're making. You just got to really understand how you're going to do things and why you're doing things, and that's just going to help you level up a lot more. Um, we work on just like your training last week, working on mindset, right? So Clint has us listening to mindset training every single morning. He sends us videos, right? So we're understanding why we're here, and we're not giving up, you know, on the first 600 dials. Nobody picks up, right? This is the long game, right? There's no way that Clint's doing this well, or other people in the industry are doing so well. They're so willing to share everything with us. Why aren't we taking advantage of it? Why aren't we plugging in that same system and listening to what they're saying, or listening to what they're sharing, and just doing the same thing? You're going to get the same results. Clint and I always talk about we're not special. We're not special people. We just work really hard. So that's a big thing that is take advantage of your upline, take advantage of all these types of trainings. I mean, like you're absolutely great. You share everything that anything that I need to know, anything I need to learn about, a little bit different things that um, in the industry. You share that with us, and that's the thing with FFL as well. So FFL is always sharing all these ignites, all these convention things. Nobody's gatekeeping, right? Take
No,
advantage.
I love that because that's the best part is like, like you've been hopping on our calls and I'm like, we had an agent on our team that was like, hey, is the calls only for us? And I was like, no. Like, dude, like just so you guys are well aware, like we recruited a lot of agents posting these calls on YouTube. That's why we do it. And you're like, why? We're like, aren't you training your competition? Absolutely. We are absolutely training our competition. But here's what we also know. We believe our training is so damn good that when our competition listens to this training, they go, damn, why is my own upline not giving me this? And then what happens is they leave their place and they come work here because they go, if you're providing that much value for me now and I don't work in your group, I can only imagine what it's like when we work with you. right? And this is why I always tell people, I go, if you don't make it here, like Dennis, I always tell this
Mm.
on recruiting calls. I go, if you don't make it here, it is not because you were undertrained. That's not possible because we have so much of it, right? If you don't make it here, it's probably because you don't work. Because this shit is really simple. We buy leads, we call them, and then we help those people, and that's about it. And we just repeat that and repeat that and repeat that, right? Like, yeah, does it get dry and boring and all that? Absolutely. Like one of my mentors used to tell me this, Dennis. He goes, in order to be successful, you have to master the mundane.
Mm.
He goes, because if you don't master the mundane, you get to master Mondays. You get to go to work on Monday for a job for somebody else that you don't like because you didn't master the mundane. He goes, look at every aspect of life. He goes, you go to the gym. Your gym's boring as hell. You lift the same weights, maybe a little bit heavier here and there. You change it up, but you're still doing the same thing. You're ripping muscle. It's mundane as hell, but you still got to do it. You want to eat clean and lose weight. Guess what? Eating clean is more, it's so boring. It is so boring eating clean, right? You want to get good at golf. Guess what you got to do? Hit like 1,000 golf balls a day, right? Everything in success is mundane as shit. Everything. And if you cannot master the mundane, the sales scripts, the training call, if you cannot master these things, you cannot be successful. And people go, Dennis, what do you do 60, 70 hours a week? The same stuff, bro. Every week. Every week. That's why he's writing 50. Y'all want to go see, like Dennis, the problem is, and I relate this to working out, right? You got someone that's not in shape. And then they go, all right, I'm going to sign up for the gym membership. I'm going to go to 24-hour fitness. And they join the gym. But joining the gym does not make you lose weight. Doing the work does, right? So they join the gym and they kind of like play around being in the gym because they're not really working. And then they go, the gym doesn't work. So now they go, I'm going to go do P90X because, it's all over the infomercial. It has to work, right? So they buy P90X and then they do that. But 3 days in, they stop doing that too. And they go, I'm going to go try CrossFit, right? And then they go do CrossFit. And then they do Insanity, right? And they do everything else except for sticking to one thing for 90 days. That's the problem. Is they always want the new shiny object. It's the same thing with leads. Agents go, wait a second, what is Amin running for leads? Oh, I tried that for a week. It didn't work. What is Dennis running? I tried that for a week. What is what? It's like, dude, you can't try anything for a week and make it work. You got to be consistent and you got to be boring at this. That's the reason why it works. You got to master the mundane. I'm sorry to hijack that, but like it's so important because you're listening to the scripts. I love it when new agents go, "Hey Dennis, can you send me your script?" I'm like, "Bro, it's the same as everybody else's. I promise you." We did this call last Wednesday. It's the same. You just want to blame the one that you have doesn't work. So, oh, the reason why I'm not successful is because the script that I currently have doesn't work. So that's why I have to use Dennis's script. No, it's all the same. Same structures. I promise you. Stop dodging the work, right? So sorry. I didn't mean to go off on that tangent right now.
And exactly what it's true. And then, the bullet points that I sent you, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's a system, right? So just plug into that system and you'll get similar results, right? Another big thing that a lot of people don't take advantage of are the Zoom rooms, right? Come into the Zoom rooms, stay off mute, turn your camera on. Harold's talked about this a few weeks ago, right? Same thing. Take advantage. There's so many people that come into the Zoom rooms, they come off mute and say, "Hey, diabetes, no other issues." Oh yeah, do this. All right, and then they go mute. Like that's it. Like you're just gonna make the sale like that. Like how about the rest of it? And they're not getting better, and they're not realizing that like they're not converting these. And it's like, hey, what's going on? I just the leads don't work, or oh, that person wasn't interested, or they didn't want it, or they said they'll call back, and they don't convert to anything. You're like, hey, that's it. That's it. I mean, you just come off mute, say one thing, and you think you're going to make the sale. That's not true. Stay off mute. Stay off mute. Stay off mute until you're like literally doing 30, 40 a month. I'll come off mute because I need Clint to listen to me sometimes,
Right.
right? If I'm in a bad, bad week, or my tone changes. Not the same thing. I don't talk the same when I had a 12K day the day before than I had 2 or 3 days without any sale. I don't sound the same, or I don't sound the same if someone just yelled at me,
Correct.
right? So come off mute. You're gonna get better. Take advantage of that the opportunity to have someone like in our room, have someone like Clint, or we're in the other the FFLL. We have so many Hall of Famers in there giving tips. Like, why would you not want to take advantage of it? Like, you're wondering, how are these people making, writing 50, 60 a month? And that's, they're coming off mute.
Right.
Yeah,
You know what's
how are you
funny,
going to level up?
Dennis? So like, true story. Because you know how like when you coach agents, you're like they're like, oh, I didn't sell this, and you're like, what happened here? And they're like, oh, they said this, and I'm like, oh, I would have said this, and they're like, but I did say that. That's like the typical answer. I did say that, right? So I'm gonna give you a true story. So I'm working with an agent, um, buddy of mine, and we're working with one of his agents, and he's like, man, I'm in a slump, and I'm like, send me your recording. So we started listening to it, and like what's funny is he actually says everything I would say because he actually does. Like his objections, his rebuttals, it's so on point. But Dennis, like what we've learned was he was selling, like going through the motions. Although he was saying the correct things, he wasn't.
Mhm.
Right? It's like the whole like it's not what you say, it's how you say it type of thing. And then here's the best part. We listened to that call, and I'm like, bro, you listen to respond. You don't listen to listen. And what I mean by that is like he'll talk and the client will say something and he'll assume it's a objection and then he'll rebuttal it, right? When it's actually not an objection. It's just like pure curiosity for the client, right? And so I started clipping the calls to send to him. And I'm like, bro, I need you to listen to this. This clip is a minute and 21 seconds long. You talk for a minute and 19 of it straight. The client tries to say something and you cut him off and kept going, right? And I'm like, you're talking to, like, you're listening to respond. You're not listening to listen, right? And like, that's where, here's what's crazy, Dennis. That dude writes 30 grand every month. That dude
He
writes 30
probably
grand
buys a
every
lot of
month.
leads.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, here's what's crazy is he's writing at that clip and still doing these things.
Yeah, for sure.
Does that make sense? Like he's writing at that, he's a Hall of Fame pace guy, and he's still doing these things without even knowing. And until we addressed it with him, he was like, damn, I didn't even know that. He goes, I didn't even know I sounded like that. I'm like, yeah, well, how? When you're talking and you're going through the stuff, like you only hear what you think you're hearing. He goes, I'm like, when you send me the recording, I don't hear what you think you're hearing. I hear what the client hears. And you go, oh, why didn't that guy buy from me? Because of this, bro. That's why. And it was so enlightening. And that's why we say this because, like I was just talking to Edgar right before we hopped on this call. Like the beauty of our company is like not only have we built like the local offices and gotten really good at that, we've gotten really good at building this business over the Zoom because not everybody lives in the same place. And so like we can have an agent that is in a different part of the state, different part of the country, and literally still have success here because of that culture. And it's like, why wouldn't you utilize that? You know what I mean? Like if Dennis sells 50 grand a month and I don't, okay, I would literally go, Dennis, this is what I'm doing wrong. And then when he tells me something, I wouldn't yeah but him. I would just be like, yes, sir, and do it. Because he has the result. Like one of the things I learned early on is if I'm talking to a mentor of mine and his stack is bigger than mine, he's automatically right. Because if I was right, then I would have the same stack, but I don't. You know what I mean, Dennis? So sorry.
Yeah, for sure. No, and so we go over this a lot, right? So Clint in the beginning he was like, "Hey, you sound like you're interrogating the person. You sound like you're, just like question, 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 question," and that's how we're gonna level up, right? You're gonna, your mentors, you're listening to them and understand what they're saying. A lot of people don't, take advantage of that. And I think that's a huge mistake, right? Coming off mute. It doesn't matter how much you're selling. Come off mute. I love it in the main Zoom room, when the Hall of Famers come off mute, because I get to hear how they pitch things, how they run things, and it's crazy. Listening to the way you talk, it's just straight up. You almost sound dumb if you don't want to buy. It's crazy, and I've noticed that with like a lot of the Hall of Famers. They just put it out there like it's almost silly if you're not gonna buy this. And then it's like the common thing that you guys all do. You, Dom, Clint, Marissa, Heather, all you guys Jesse, Stam. It's crazy. Just listen to you guys. Just little things like that. Why wouldn't you do this? Okay,
It's
yeah, it makes sense. I'll
it's
do it.
dude, someone told me the other day, he was taking a look at our industry and he goes, like he's like, I come from this industry and it's pure logic, right? Like I can save you money. He goes, your industry is pure emotion. And I was like, no, it's not. I'm like, you haven't heard me sell life insurance because I
Right.
think it's pure logic. If you don't buy this, I think you're dumb. You know what I mean? But it's
Yeah.
funny because that's how, like you said, like that's how. But here's the thing, and I say this to be funny, but seriously, if you don't have enough conviction to believe in what we do, that your clients are dumb for not having this, good luck, bro. You ain't gonna make any damn sales. This is not a luxury. We're all going to die. And when they die, two things can happen. They can have the insurance company send them a check for a couple hundred grand, or they don't. Like it's really that simple. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and if you don't have the conviction to believe that, then I go, this is not the right industry for you.
They want it.
That's the other
They fill
part.
out a form. They fill out a form. They want it. It's your job to help them get it. It's your job to help them understand it and not turn them off of talking to people. So I talk to a lot of clients, and they're like, "Wow, the way you did it, that's great. I didn't feel any pressure. It made sense. You explained everything. Yeah." But I talked to some other people. They were just like, jerks about it. And so you can turn people off, and they'll die without life insurance because you didn't do your job. You
Dennis,
weren't understanding.
Here's what's crazy. Like, other companies teach their agents that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They teach their, I'm not kidding when I say this because I never understood it until I actually asked a client one day. Other companies teach their agents that, like, if you're not going to sell, botch it so much that whoever comes behind you doesn't get it,
Hmm.
which is
That's
actually
wild.
detrimental for our clients.
Hmm.
Like, you ever
That's wild.
call a client and they're like, I said I'm not interested. Well, bro, why did they get there? How did they get there? How did they get so apprehensive on you making a phone call for something they requested? Somebody botched it.
And that's one of the things that Clint teaches us. He's like, don't get into it with them, right? Someone else, our downlines will come up behind, and maybe they can do the sale. And I've had plenty of I've had my downlines sell to people that I couldn't get to, or I
That's the
couldn't make a
best
sale to.
tip ever, by the way. I do that all
Yeah,
the time. Give your no
yeah,
sales to other people because just because you didn't sell it doesn't mean somebody else can't.
definitely, right? And maybe they don't like you. Maybe
Correct.
you're interrogating. You were talking to them like a police officer, right? So maybe they're more compassionate, right? So that's well, maybe you weren't patient that day. So definitely there's the downlines are there to pick up all that meat that's still in there. There's definitely a lot of meat because we run so many leads, and that's the next thing, right? Leads. We run so many leads that like, hey, we're not getting hung up on somebody that's just messing around or someone that's not fully committed, right? You have enough leads so that you can say, hey, you know what? Maybe this sale is not for me, right? And then move on. If they're not committed to it, move on. You got 100 other leads to call that day. You got 30 more appointments, 20 more appointments to call. Like, don't get held up. And that's where you jump up from like the 20, 30 range to like the 50 range. More leads, more options. more freedom for you to choose, like, hey, am I gonna spend an hour and a half talking to this guy, or I'm gonna jump onto the next one and convert that one, or if not that, the next one or the next one, because I have 20, 30 appointments this day today, right? So the way we do that is definitely starting with new leads, excuse me, age leads, run that, build your bank, right? Make sure that like you can afford to start going into newer leads, fresher leads, and then eventually go into self-gen leads. Have somebody do leads for you on Facebook. Mix them up, right? Do old leads. If you're doing final expense, start doing, if mortgage protection, if that's the route you want to go, start mixing it in a little bit, throw in a little bit. So we're lucky enough that, we do a lot of IULs as well, right? If you have the opportunity, do an IUL.
I wanted to
Get
ask you
that
this. Did you
experience.
start there?
Yeah. Start with what?
IULs.
No,
Exactly. So,
no.
like, I want everybody that's new on this call to just hear that answer. It's not that we don't do IULs, we just don't start new agents there. We need you to get paid, and you don't get paid very fast doing IULs unless it's simplified. And, like, that's another thing that you got to learn. So, we try to get agents paid fast by doing final expense. And then, Dennis, what happens is like, then we go, all right, new sale that we're going to add into your repertoire: mortgage, Gen Life, IULs. Like we teach you how to be a full service agent. We don't just go, "Hey, you're brand new, you don't know anything. You're going to go take the hardest sale right off the rip." Cuz that's hard.
It's just like a sport, right? So, I mean, you were talking about the gym earlier. You don't just go in there and start doing all different kinds of like techniques, right? You got to start walking,
Right.
start eating clean, right? If you're doing golf, play 9 holes. You're not going to
Right.
play 18, right? Go to the range. Go to the range every single day, right? Start putting every single day. Don't buy golf clubs right away. You're just going to spend money. You're just going to waste it. You're going to be like, hey, my friend told me to get this, and you just wasted $1,000 on clubs that you don't even know how to use. That might not be right for you, right? We do a lot of fishing. We're always in the water, and if
Right.
you're not trying, you're not going to catch anything. Don't buy the best gear in the beginning because you don't know your style. So start there, start with the age. Someone asked how many age leagues. I mean, I don't know, whatever your budget can fit. If you can do $1,000, go with that. How many can you get to? Is really like where you're going to manage your leads. Then start mixing in, fresher leads. Do some combination. Like I did. I started off 75%, 25%, then 50-50, then 75%, and then I just went full in on leads, right? And I figured out how many leads I need a week, 120 to 150 fresh leads a week. That's my sweet spot, right? If I'm not doing too well, then I have to increase that and get more leads. But that's all it is. Not really that complicated.
I want to ask you a question, and this is I think I'm going to take this to where I want to go. Do you get very much pushback when you sell?
No, I don't. I don't. I hardly ever get a social or a banking.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I get is I'm busy. Call me back. Let's
Mm-hmm.
set an appointment. That's about it. I don't get many objections. I mean, and
Here's
I can handle them. Yeah.
but here's what I'm trying to get to. You want to know why you don't have, like, because this is what I've learned. You always notice that when we interview top producers, they go, "Yeah, man, I don't get much pushback. I don't get much objections." Part of it is because they're good and their script allows them to. But you want to know the other real answer is, Dennis? We just have more leads.
Yeah.
So like the lead that like is difficult, instead of me going, "I need to close them because my mortgage is due tomorrow," I just, because we have a lot of leads, we go, whatever, on to the next. Right? Because here's what people don't understand too. When you have more leads, you also have more laydowns. I
Mhm.
just wanted to sell the laydowns. You want to
All
know
day
why
long.
I sold the
All day long.
laydowns? The persistency was stronger. So people go, "Man, you're selling more insurance and your persistency is stronger." Yeah, because I'm only selling the people that want to be sold. I'm not going to twist your arm and make you argue with me on why life insurance is good or not for your family. Like if you don't understand that, like I'm not here to convince you on that. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
here's why I say this question, Dennis, and I'm going to phrase the question to you this way. As a brand new agent, what is more dangerous? $500 into leads or 2000?
2000 for sure. In my opinion,
Okay.
for a new agent,
So you think $2,000 is more dangerous for a new agent?
I think start off with a 500, get old leads where you can get a big volume of leads.
So here's why I say this. I'm going to disagree with Dennis in front of everybody. I had this training when we did this a training a long time ago. Here's the reason why I disagree. Because if a brand new agent only has $2,000 but they only spend 500, here's what happens. Number one, they're not all in. And number two, you suck when you're new. Like I'll tell you, like all you new agents, you suck. I'm letting you know that right now. You're bad. You're not as good as we are yet. It's okay. You got a learning curve to go through. So because you're not very good, you need more than we do. And because you need more than we do, you can't spend less than us and get the same result. Because if he's spending 2 grand on average and you're spending 500 to try to get his result, you're delusional. And what happens is when you spend 2000, guess what you're going to have with that 2000? You're going to have laydowns. And when you have laydowns, it builds sales confidence. And here's what I know. And here's what all the top producers in here can tell me, Clint, Jordan, Daniel, everybody. If you bought $2,000 worth of leads, you're definitely selling more than $2,000 worth of insurance every single time. So, like, why is that the bigger risk? But here's what I can tell you. Here's what I can tell you, Dennis. Here's what I can tell you. I've seen people buy $500 worth of leads and never sell. Any agency managers want to co-sign on that with me? They buy $500 worth of leads and they don't sell. You know why? They don't have as many at bats. So what's the real answer? The 500 is way more riskier than the two, although monetarily the $2,000 more risky. It's not though. That's what people don't understand. This is why I go, this business is so backwards. It's actually like playing golf. The harder you try to swing a golf club, the shorter it goes, right? This business is very similar to that. Like the less you spend, the harder it is. The more you spend, the easier it becomes because you get more laydowns. And that's why I'm like, when Amin figured this thing out, I was like, dude, I'm listening to him make calls all last week. And I'm like, he gets like no damn pushback. And I was like, wait a second. I know why he gets no pushback. He's only talking to the people that want it anyways. If they tell him something stupid, he just goes, all right, bro, good luck. On to the next. But the people that are strapped for leads, Dennis, that are fighting
Oh yeah,
for appointments, they got to try to close them.
yeah. You can't have a lead problem. You got to have so many leads that you can just move on to the next. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're using aged leads or fresh leads. If you can do the 2000, definitely do it. Um, or get as many leads as you can. I mean, if we're doing like $2 leads at 500, you get 1,000 leads. You know what I mean? That's a lot of people to comb through.
Right.
You'll find something in there for sure. You'll find something in there. Definitely. I started the lead program in December, right? So I did that with Clint walked me through that, and we were doing leads right away. I wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid to. I used to come in. I used to have to buy just like raw material in Mexico when we were doing the seafood. It's $250,000 $150,000 a container. To convert that to $250,000. That's a lot of money, right? So, buying 1,000, $2,000 in leads was like, really? That's it? Let's do it. Right. So I was in from the get-go. I
Right.
think, if you want results, if you can do it, definitely go into the fresh leads and generate that. A lot of things I think that we've been talking, a lot of stuff that we're not realizing is that we have a lot of warm market as well. So we know a lot of people. Every time I talk to you, brother-in-law, father-in-law, this and that, and you guys are doing annuities, right? So there's a lot of opportunity out there of just people that we know. How many people with kids do we know? They should all have IULs.
Right.
They should all have it. And why aren't we
Absolutely.
tapping into that?
Absolutely.
Why aren't we looking into that? I mean, there's a lot of opportunity out there. Um, but definitely go into the high intent leads is definitely what's gonna help you level up for sure. And
Hey, I just want
I
to.
don't deal with pushback. I mean, like honestly, Clint laughs at me, and I laugh at him because I can hear him when he's talking to somebody. He's like, I got more people to call, and that's a great problem,
That's a
right?
great
I got
problem.
more people to call. That's a great problem. If you're stuck with, it's funny because I talk to some people and they're like, yeah, I get, like 80 leads a week. Like, I remember I talked to one person. They're like, yeah, I know people are like just killing it with like 30 leads a week. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that doesn't even make sense. I mean, and you're starting off, you should get 200 leads a week.
Right.
Run through them. It's part of school, right? So you're investing in yourself to get better. And once you master your craft, then you can start, getting 150 leads, 120 leads because you're converting.
Correct.
But in the beginning, you just flood yourself with leads and you're just going to get all the laydowns. Um, you're not going to have a conversation problem. Yeah, people, even fresh leads, we get the same, they don't pick up, straight to voicemail. They're busy, calling back, same thing, right? But you'll get a lot more people that, yeah, I want this. I need this. How do we start? This is my social. Like, hey, wait, hold on, right? Like this morning, I did 2 calls this morning and 2 for 2, 2 for 2. I mean, and those are leads, right? And I haven't called. I have probably too many leads right now, fresh leads right now that haven't even been touched yet.
Dude, my mentor taught me this. He said, and I'd write this down if I were you. My mentor taught me this. He said, I'd rather have too many leads and be obligated to work than want to work and not have any leads to call. Because the second person, that's a very tough part to be in, especially when your bills are on the way. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather have an overflow of leads and go, I'm drowning in leads. Let me at least just call everybody once, right? Which is why there's so much low hanging fruit. But I wanted to say something like, this is the problem, Dennis, is when we have people that are too damn good. Like someone that goes, oh, I only need 30 leads a week. I'm like, please don't say that from the front of the room because nobody's good as you,
Mhm.
right? Like we have a new agent on our team, Jay. Like Jay's not going to be able to do on 30 leads what I can because that's not
Mhm.
fair skill set wise. So like there's a reason why we say we needed a mass amount of leads because when you take the mass amount of leads, it takes the skill out of the way.
Mhm.
Because Jay can take 150 leads and I can take 100 and he can sell just as much, if not more than I can, for the simple fact that he has more at bats. It's not a skill thing, dude. 25% of these people buy no matter what. It's just a matter of who calls them, right? So, and here's
Gotcha.
what I wanted to reiterate because you said something like very nonchalant that I was kind of like, wait a second. So you used to buy containers in Mexico for $150,000 in the hopes of turning it into 250.
Exactly.
So
And
like
I'd
that's
have
a
to have
40%
one.
return.
I have to have one in the plant, one on the way, like one in the ocean, and then one like preparing to leave.
Okay, so
So I
yeah,
mean,
like you're
imagine that
450,000 in inventory. Like,
just on raw material, just on raw material.
right.
Like that's what you had to have in order to do a business.
But here's what I'm trying to get to is that's a 40% return. You spend 150 to make 250. That's a 40% return, right? We go, you spend $1,000 worth of leads, you should write at least two. That's a 200% return. And people go, that's not enough for me. And I go, I don't know
Mhm.
what business model you came from, but if I give you $1 million and at the end of the week you give me two, I'm going to give you the money right now.
Mhm.
Like, what do you mean?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, and then I go, like, that's on the worst. Like, brand new agents have a 2-3 ROI here. Veteran agents or a solid agent's 4 to 5, and a veteran agent like you guys are at like usually roughly 7 to 8. And that's why I go, stop trying to pretend to be in business, dude. Some of y'all like play businessmen. Like, no, 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 just do the work, right? Because I'm like, bro, it'd be different if we were spending $150,000 for a container. No, and that's what real business is, unfortunately. We come here and we get the ability to make what real business is make without the cost of it because it's sweat equity.
Mhm.
That's the problem, is because it's a little too easy sometimes. So that's crazy, man.
Yes.
I just heard you say that and I was like, wait, did he just really gloss over that like that? I was like, that is not something simple. Like,
So yeah, another part of this is like really tracking it. And what you're talking right now, it's like 25%, right? So track your information. How many presentations did you get to? How many appointments did you? How many appointments did you have in order to get to those presentations and the contacts and all that stuff? It's, show rate for appointments is probably like 20%, 25%. Close rate, 40%, 30, between 30 and 40%. It's just numbers, right?
right,
How many presentations do you need to get to? And that's where it comes down to. How many closes do you want, right? And one other part of this, another part of this is to level up is really to for me, what's really helped me is getting a good CRM. So we have a good CRM that's texting, following up, self-booking appointments, gives them some follow-up texts, like reminders and things like that. Just following up with them if they didn't book. Um, that's really helpful. I spend like $500 a month on that, right? But it helped me because of those appointments, like 18 sales, right? That converted to 27,000. $500 investment gives you 27,000 all day long,
right,
right? Next thing that I also do for myself is I have a dialer,
right,
right? I'm spending $1,600 a month on a dialer. But because of her appointments and her following up and those transfers, we're doing 23,000 a month with the dialer. Why would you not want that?
right.
That's how you're going to level up, right? So between those two, it's that's $50,000 a month of business. And then it's funny because I track my own, because I'm dialing in between appointments, no shows, and I'll get like 8 sales, right, on myself. So that's like $12,000. So it's like, where's it's a no brainer. You get a good CRM, text them. Ours has the one that we use has like AI chatting.
Hmm.
That's crazy because they really get into like emotions and stuff. And then for ourselves, for myself, a dialer, right?
Here's where I want to go with this. Okay. People ask me all the time, like, how do you go from 20 to 40? And there's an actual answer. The simple answer from 20 to 40 is usually double your lead bill.
Mm-hmm.
How do you go from 40 to 60? You can't just double your lead bill
Mm-hmm.
because there's only the same amount of finite time in a day. The correct answer from going from 40 to 60 is usually systems because that's when it really matters. Like what you're talking about, having self books, auto books, AI books, dialer books. Like that's what people don't get. Like the answer isn't always just double because that's like if I'm playing basketball and like my competition shoots 1,000 shots a day and I shoot 2,000. Now I'm better. How am I supposed to get better now? Double and shoot 4,000 shots? My arms would be broken. No, at that point, it's actually completely backwards. You get coaching and training and getting very finite training, right? Like detail oriented stuff. That's what we're trying to talk about. The answer to double is not always double. It is in the beginning. How do you go from 10 to 20 to 40? Double your lead bill. How do you go from 40, 60, 70, 80? Systems. That's the correct answer. If someone goes, how do you write more? Just double your lead bill again. No, that's actually not true because you can't even get to them. Are you at a place where you can't get to all your leads? Like, honestly.
Oh, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely,
So if
definitely. I
someone
have
told you
way
to
too many.
double your leads, that's stupid.
Yeah, it would just be wasting money. I wouldn't
Yeah.
even. It wouldn't even. It wouldn't even make sense. It wouldn't even make sense. Not even close. I mean, I can't. I wouldn't even better work 250 leads. I'll do
Right.
150 leads. I'm very comfortable with that.
Right.
I'll have enough appointments and have. Sometimes what I do is, I'll pick up a second dialer. When they're off, I'll pick up a second dialer and have them run through the leads again, and just kind of squeeze what I can out of that. And it's like, one sale pays for like the whole month,
Right.
right? So it's like it's a no brainer, but you have to have the fresh leads is definitely the way to level up, and the systems of just using like CRM or dialer, keeping track, getting a VA. Once you're in that 30, 40 range, definitely get a VA, get someone to manage your book. So you're not calling, you're not spending an hour, 2 hours, excuse
Yep.
me, 2 hours talking to America on hold, right? Um, so that's how you're going to level up. That's how you're going to be able to take it to the next step. It's just putting in systems,
I love it.
and everybody will share that information with you too.
Absolutely. Dennis, one last question as we wrap up, man. Um, Knowing what you know now, 10 months in, you obviously write the premium. You're one of the best of them at it. Knowing what you know now, if you can go back and do something different, regardless if it's your selling side, recruiting side, what would be that one piece of advice that you would tell yourself, knowing what you know now?
I would definitely get into the leads. Definitely work into the leads. Figure out what's your sweet spot, how many people that you can get to. Um, Fresh leads is where the money's at. I mean, you're going to get so many more conversions once you learn your craft. Once you're able to master it, um, listen to all those trainings as possible. Take advantage of everything that FFL has available to you. I mean, we have the boot camps. We have your boot camp. We have all your trainings on YouTube. Brady Folsom has great training. It's just everything that's available to us. All these ignites. The I think you talked about it, right? When you started annuities, you didn't, it wasn't even something that you were interested in.
Right.
Sit and listen. There's opportunity there. There's a lot of information there that we can take advantage of. And as a new agent, obviously it doesn't make sense. Like running a annuity, what is that? Right? It doesn't even make sense, right? But you'll eventually get to those opportunities to level up. Um, and yeah, definitely.
I love it, man. Dennis, you're a stud. If there's anything I can ever do to return the favor, let me know. But dude, this business
Appreciate
is
it.
simple, guys. It's leads and appointments.
Mhm.
Leads, appointments, presentations, whatever you want to call it, because we actually do it over the phone now. But that's a really simple part of this business. And like it's why when you guys get to the level that you get to, when you get to 20, when you get to 30, when you get to 40, the first question I always ask is like, how simple was it? How easy was it? Because it really is. And then you'll look back and get how you the usual response is you'll look back and be upset because you're like, if it was really this simple, then why didn't I jump in all in earlier? Is the real answer. You know what I mean? So, Dennis, I appreciate you, man. You made it simple for everybody to understand. And guys, this upcoming Tuesday, tomorrow, actually, Mike Gomez is going to be leading our Spanish training. And if you or anybody you know on your team speaks Spanish, wants to plug in, you're more than welcome to. Tonight at 5:30 p.m., Arthur Forrest is going to be leading our new agent launch call. So for those of you that don't know what that is, if you're brand new, newly licensed, that call is going to talk about our Telegram system. That call is going to talk about our lead platform. That call is going to talk about our CRM. That call is going to talk about the Zoom meeting. That call is going to talk about our boot camp. It's going to tell you which 15 states you should get your non-resident licenses in. It's going to tell you all the things you need to get started as a brand new agent. So make sure you hop on that. If you or your agents have not written 20 grand yet, in my opinion, you definitely need to be on that because there's no way you launched yet. All right. So that's going to be at 5:30 Pacific at skypointzoom.com. So, Dennis, thank you. Appreciate every single one of you guys. And as always, we'll see you at the top.